What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of Czar Chat, brought to you by cardzar.com, www.cardzar.com. As always, I'm Luke. Find us on Instagram at cardzar, and I'm with my boy SP the Titan, a.k.a. Wyatt, a.k.a. Sean. What's going on, hot boy?
Hey, my brother. What's going on?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Another Wednesday night. We're talking cards tonight. Had a successful Czar Chat. Episode 1 had a lot of great feedback, so thank you, everybody, for watching us on YouTube. You can find us at Cardzar. I just simply type in Cardzar, simple as that. And again, on Instagram at Cardzar, that's our eBay handle as well. You can find SP the Titan, like I said, at SP the Titan on Instagram. So, Sean, some great topics we're going to talk about tonight, thanks to the listener feedback. So let's just break it off with something easy. 2020, regardless of price, what's been your favorite set so far?
Okay, so I'll give you a little raw perspective because obviously I just got back into the hobby about like October of last year. So this is like a first full year, if you will, full run of me getting back into it. So maybe just because personally I think I'm a big nostalgia lover. You know, it's a free drug and it is addictive, but I can't get enough of it. So I'm a big nostalgia guy. So I think my picks will probably go along that, one of which is kind of maybe a surprise that nobody really doesn't love. I'll give a second place and then a clear first. My second place would be Legacy, man. I liked Legacy because I think I was getting back into it, looking to collect football, and there wasn't anything new yet, and it was affordable. You got a couple guaranteed autos in every box, so I could get a box and kind of splurge on it. But the thing that really got me, I know you know, brother, the minis, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. I love these little things. I was like,
Yep.
I just thought it was so cool. Maybe when I was a kid, there was nothing really like these little tobacco cards. I know there was some old thing that revived, but those two were really cool. And it was kind of, there's only 8 parallels of the minis maybe, so it wasn't anything insane. I had to so it was a fun one to collect those. So that was my runner-up. I picked just one. But number one for me is going to be Donruss, dude. Donruss is a name from when I was a kid, so it's a familiar name, but it's very accessible. But it's also I compared the score, I think it's like not even close. It's way better than score, man. You get fun hits in every pack. You get the press proofs are cool, little parallels, and something in every pack, and you get a volume of it. I mean, not saying I'm a quantity over quality kind of guy, but in that case, you get a little decent amount. I dig it, man. I thought you'd get a lot of cool cards in there. Like I love the Gridiron Kings, some of those cool, and they come on canvas, which makes it even better, gives it a nice little touch. You got you got some of the optic previews that came in some blasters that were really cool. So you got, look for hitting a rookie in one of those. I mean, of course, you're going to hate this one, but this was a good memory. Just some cool, fun little inserts like this, like the playoff wins. Those are just something that I thought was cool. Then, of course, you got little throwbacks, which, I mean, like I said, nostalgia is one of my favorite drugs in the world. So, you can't beat the two, but then these babies, man,
beautiful.
Those are a thing of beauty. It's simple. It's a $1 card. But to me, it brings so much joy. It's so cool. All those elements make it worth it. And, it's easy, you can hit a rookie like Herbert without paying $1 billion and something, to save to the collection. And some of my other favorites I think these are really cool looking cards with the rookies and the AJ Brown one that I bought from last year's school. I feel like you get a lot for what, and accessibility probably has something to do with it, but I feel like you get a lot for it. So that Donruss is my personal pick. So what about you, my man?
Well, just real quick, the whole thing about Donruss too, I think that people appreciate is how clean the rookies are, the rated rookies for sure. You see the Donruss rookies, even though it's a lower value set, lower value card, they still outsell, illusion-based rookies probably because I think people enjoy the cleanliness of it and also that it's a flagship product Donruss. It's just something about those, like the tops, regular tops chrome, Donruss Optic, which I'm sure you'll be going after in the next few months when that comes out. I think people just really appreciate that, obviously, along with the Prism as like the new flagship for this era. But for me personally, I love 2020 Luminance. I didn't pick any up just because I wasn't I didn't buy into Luminance because the price point was a little high for me because the resale on that is just, it's minimal. And I don't know why, because I love the matte finish to all the cards. I also love the just the photography on them as well. I mean, you remember Luminance.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
From the basketball, you have the John Morant from Chronicles. They did the Luminous
Oh yeah,
third set. The Zion looked great too.
near posterization.
Yeah, he almost dunked it, but you know what though? People don't have to know that when they look at the card. But what I really, and if you look at,
I'm a Cavs fan, so I never forget that part that he missed it.
when you look at the 2019, I sent you that AJ Brown rookie card. Beautiful looking card. Same thing with DK Metcalf. Cool photography.
Oh.
So that's what I loved about Luminance. I also loved 2020 Black this year. Just again, I like the matte finish. I like that set. Unfortunately, I don't have any examples of those, but I do have an example of my favorite set, obviously, and we've been over this ad nauseum. Actually, I do have a black. This is the this is Illusions. Never mind, but Illusions Brady. Besides that won't count. But right here, like the Jalen Reagor, impeccable. I mean, I got in the canvas Deontay Johnson impeccable auto as well recently. So I love impeccable. I've shown you, Sean, the cards I've picked up so far. And, I've spent less than $1,000 box or $1,000 price of the boxes are going for. And I've picked up, plenty of cards. And I'm very, very happy with those purchases. But I actually just pulled out some examples of 2020 Illusions. So I think the reason why Luminance doesn't get the love that other sets do is because for rookies, they're in their college unis. So this is, Joe Burrow. It's still a cool looking card. They got an in-action shot when he's at LSU. And this is DK Metcalf from 2019. So, again, the Ole Miss jersey. But I just love just the action shot. I mean, I think they did a really good job of the photography. And I think you're starting to see people appreciate photography a lot more when it comes to collecting and it comes to different cards and card values. So I like Luminance. I think those are, again, that impeccable is just gorgeous. And, Prism came out. I liked it. The price point is ridiculous, but I like the design. I like some of the base set of the inserts. I think they did a good job with that. And finally, Mosaic. I mean, you and I both like Mosaic this year, first year for Mosaic. And what I really liked about Mosaic is the inserts. The inserts were a throwback to what I felt like the late 90s, early 2000 inserts for different sports. And it was, instead of just having, 20 parallels of one card, they just had really cool designs, really cool backdrops for some of the cards. So those are my favorites.
Yeah, the Touchdown Masters, I know the Jam Masters is the perfect version of it, right? Because NBA Jam, the basketball side, but we're football. I know you know football first and foremost. So the Touchdown Masters are really cool insert. I actually just got a Brett Favre one today. I had scooped a couple packs during lunch. I got the itch up, and I got a Brett Favre, but I got a Justin Herbert too. Yeah, it was a good day.
So the other question people wanted to ask, which was more to take on the industry in general. There was recently a huge transaction. Collectors Universe, the parent company of PSA, announced that there's an agreement to sell their company for $700 million to a group of investors, including entrepreneur and collector Nat Turner. The group will take the company private, which is, I think, a key aspect to this conversation we're going to have. It also includes a family office of New York Mets owner Steve Cohen. So Stephen Cohen getting into the game is huge, considering he just spent billions of dollars on the Mets, and now he's buying into this group that spent $700 million on PSA, purchasing PSA. So off the top, what are your initial thoughts about this purchase and sale?
Well, man, I just bought a house, so it sounds nice to be buying $700 million on a company or whatever, just like for a little bit. My side project, let's go with this. That sounds pretty nice. I guess I went down the wrong path. I don't know, but you know what, man? It sounds. I don't even know what to think. I mean, I don't know. A private company own it. I mean, will anything really change? I don't think so. I think just different people are going to be making money off of the ebbs and flows of the hobby, if you will, and the grading and everything. Other than that, I mean, I don't know if anything's going to change, but maybe I'm just not much of a informed hobbyist. I don't know. You tell me. Is there something I'm missing? Like, I think it's great. You got people involved that maybe you'll protect it and make it a good company or whatever you'd hope. But I don't know. Seems like nothing to me. But
I think what's important is, again, I mentioned the key aspect is that it's going to go private. And I think that's big because PSA felt a lot of pressure from what I've read and what I've heard from their investors or stockholders. Turn product. And I think, the bottom line, what's the bottom line? Obviously, if you're investing in a company, you want to make money. And with these people, these stockholders who aren't collectors, they're not in the hobby, they're not in the industry, they're not into sports, they're just all about, dollars and cents. they probably don't appreciate the hobby itself, and they just appreciate it being a cash cow, the moneymaker it's turned into. So I don't know a ton about Nat Turner. Honestly, I pretty much didn't know who he was until this sale. And then I kind of, did some research and found him on Instagram and saw the stuff that he had. Great collection. I mean, a beautiful, beautiful sports card collection. So I do like that the head or an influential person in this group is a collector. I think that's only a good thing for the hobby. Now,
yeah, can't hurt, right?
But what's he gonna do? That's like your point. Like, he could do nothing. He could just see it as a cash grab, because maybe as a collector he knows, oh, there's a ton of money to be made here. We can just keep on doing what we've been doing. We're just gonna be making money hand over fist. I'm not sure. I don't know Nat Turner. I don't know. Obviously, I don't hang out with Stephen Cohen either. So,
if only.
So I just think what I do like, though, is that it's going to hopefully have a collector mindset when it comes to PSA, because, obviously I'm pro SGC here when it comes to grading. I respect BGS. I respect PSA. I respect SGC. I think that what we've noticed with PSA having over 1 million card backlog is clearly there's a huge need for a change in the grading industry, whether that's another player like SGC getting in, or PSA totally revamping their model, their business model. And I'm hoping that as a collector, as somebody who has seen the plight, have seen the issues with PSA's old business model and 1 million card backlog and inconsistent grading, which I think is key. That's the big thing. The inconsistent grading, I think, needs to be fixed. So if Nat Turner can come in and fix that, I'm all board. But the other thing that's really interesting is Nat Turner is one of PSA's biggest customers. So now this guy who had been promoting PSA as a customer is now an investor or a part owner. How's that going to translate?
Right, man. I think the one thing that stuck out to me that you said was, consistency in what's a 10, what's a 9, what's an 8. It should be some kind of scientific model of it, because that to me would be the only way that I would notice, maybe, like I said, somebody who's uninformed a little bit but still in the hobby. To me, that's what would be the big difference, because I mean, yeah, they could pump, they could add more graders and more eyes on it and pump, the backlog and make things go quicker or whatever. But then that's the quality issue, So, I mean, I just think, you're raising more questions, and those questions beget more questions. I don't know, but I will say the thing that's me that you said is standardized, like what would be a 10. It seems like I've seen those little, like, it was like a graph or a little ruler you would have had in a math class in middle school, right? That like lines it up and shows you centering and shows. To me, it's like it should be pretty point blank. Like one of those. Are there any scratches? Are there any nicks in the corner? That's it. That's it. It seems like there should be some kind of scientific basis for it, but that's probably a whole other conversation.
Yeah, well,
so I don't know, man.
It ain't scientific when you have a human being looking at cards all day and saying, that's a 9. Maybe I want to make that an 8.5. I mean, that's always kind of been my concern with grading to a T. And the graders will never get some sort of computer system to do the grading, because that's essentially going to take money out of their pocket eventually when nothing comes back at 10, and now nobody's going to send cards to be graded anymore. So it's a double-edged sword, or catch-22, I guess. I'd say there's really no easy way to fix this, but I do like the idea that somebody who is passionate about sports cards, an entrepreneur, which Nat Turner is, a guy who thinks outside the box, will hopefully be able to come in and maybe fix this issue that we're having in the hobby, where it seems like everything's getting graded to the point where you can't even get the card saver ones anymore, which we used to just toss because of all the pain in the ass and anything. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to kind of just seeing what he brings to the table, and if it's positive for the hobby, I'm all for it. If it just turns into what PSA has been doing, okay, whatever, no sweat. I didn't invest $700 million into it, so whatever. So
yeah, transparency would be nice. Maybe if there's a little transparency about the process, a little more feedback from the hobby community, maybe something like that. I mean, that's definitely a way you can't go wrong, right? Hear what the people have to say, take that into consideration, and transparency. Right. To me, that would definitely be a big step in the right direction. That if they did that, then that would be a huge probably leap forward, more so than what we've seen in the past, like you said.
Yeah, and honestly, not to kind of pump SGC's tires here, but I think that that's what they've already done without a $700 million investment by an entrepreneur and one of the biggest, names in sports right now, which is Stephen Cohen, who bought the Mets and flat out said, "I'm going to spend money on this team to make sure that they're good." So he's not afraid to spend money.
Right.
He's not afraid to spend money on the Mets, and hopefully he's not afraid to spend money on sports cards. So. We'll see. We'll see. Again, it's going to be a wait and see approach and see what they do, see what the changes are. I'll certainly be watching from afar. I don't think I'll ever be one to do bulk grading with PSA. I like what I'm doing with SGC for the time being, and we'll kind of go from there once SGC is getting rid of their backlog, which hopefully should be in the next few months. So keep an eye on that. But speaking of people getting into the hobby and the market getting flooded, one of our buddy Bildo wrote in and said, "Market is being flooded by new people. Do you think that the card companies will see the demand to make more cards, thus dropping value? Are we seeing the junk era 2.0?" So, SP, before we get into this, I have a thesis statement, if I may.
Okay.
If I may.
Is this your first one since Baldwin Wallace College?
Probably. Most likely. My last thesis statement was about South Park and religion, so I really took college seriously.
Ooh, man, that's that liberal arts degree for you, baby. We love it.
I'm sure that paper is a gem if I read that 13 years later. But all right, this is what I want to share. As much as I hate that there are 20 plus parallels in Prism, Optic's starting to get that way. Mosaic had a ton of parallels. I think that this will actually somehow, some way eliminate any chance of a junk era 2.0. Panini Tops and Upper Deck are building in protection in my mind from this by making these cards have some sort of rarity due to the numbering scheme. And instead of like the 1989 Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck printed off in the millions, wherever that final print run is, which nobody will ever know, card companies can kind of prove that there's scarcity of their cards and give it some sort of value as an asset. And I just think that that's going to really help us go from what happened in the 90s to more eyes and more people being involved in the hobby, because you're not just collecting the same exact 1989 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. Now, I don't agree with having to get 25 different cards of Tom Brady because I want to collect all of his cards, and it's almost impossible to get 25 of them. But what's your take on that?
Man, I definitely think you said it. There's that layer of protection where you'll have those core cards that are always going to hold some kind of good value, right? Because if the demand keeps increasing, then yes, to a degree, the supply will keep increasing. They'll keep having base sets, and I'm sure the volume of Prism when it's all said and done this year is going to be absolutely insane,
Right.
for the base cards and whatnot of everything else. So there's always going to be that. But like you said, the number cards, the serial numbers are going to be one layer of protection. The other layer of protection is just the frank interest in the sets. People are going to keep buying the sets and be interested, and that's going to hold value because there's obviously interest from people there wanting them. They're desirable, right? And then you have the players. The players are always going to dictate it. If the NFL is as popular as it is, and Tom Brady's and Pat Mahomes and Lamar Jacksons and everybody else and God and King Henrys are all, continue to be successful and continue to be popular, and people keep sought after wanting a piece of that player that they love watching on Sundays and they love having a team on. And I think you're right. I don't think there will be a junk wax there. There'll be a bunch of cards that will be worth spit, of 2020 sets of base and that. There's going to be plenty that'll still hold value because of all those core principles in place. But especially like you said, having those numbers cards that'll differentiate ones that are actually worth, of even the good players holding that value.
And I think too, you said the point that, hey, all the players of the AJ Browns of the world, like all of a sudden, I think with fantasy football, fantasy baseball, basketball becoming so huge, you build some sort of attachment to a player. So, it's not, and also it's readily available to see these players play. So a lot of times, when we were growing up, obviously it was tough to see anything other than, 3 or 4 football games a week. You saw your home team, you saw the afternoon game on Sunday, you saw Monday Night Football, like that was really it. back in the day. But now with Red Zone, with the internet, NFL Sunday Ticket, you can watch any single game if you want to, and you can follow all these teams very, very easily. So I think that's going to help with the interest of players outside of your region. And on top of that, it's so easy to get cards nowadays. Before you were hoping, you're praying that you're going to find a pack of 1989 Upper Deck and you could pull the Griffey rookie, or you go to your card store, you hope that you could, buy that $20, I don't know, Mo Vaughn autograph card. But that didn't exist. But you know what I mean? Like, you hope that you got that stuff, but nowadays you go on eBay, you go on cardzar.com, and there's just so many options for you. And I think that's going to keep the hobby relevant and keep it from getting stale. The reason why the value of the cards went down is not just the crazy supply that they made, but the demand went down because it got boring. And nowadays they're doing so much with cards that it's not boring anymore. I mean, this T. Higgins patch auto, I'm not a huge T. Higgins fan, but I love this card just because I think it looks great. It's a great looking patch. Now, obviously Panini plays games where they make these guys wear chunky jerseys, and there's I'd say a 3% chance that he actually wore this jersey. It definitely wasn't during a game, but it's still a cool idea. It's still a cool relic that they add. And they're getting creative. I mean, obviously with the impeccables that I won't stop talking about, with the helmet, that's unique. You don't see that all the time. We talked about photography and cards. You're talking, I haven't been into this, but they have the cards where the players actually sketch the cards or what's on the card, which
they write whatever they want. Yeah.
I think it's lame, but somebody else might like it. And that's what's great. I think that they're doing a good job, actually diversifying what they're putting on the market. What's going to happen though, as digital gets bigger. I mean, Panini's trying to do a blockchain thing right now, which I think is an absolute joke. But again, that's just
I don't get it. That, yeah.
There could be a Bitcoin nerd who absolutely loves it. So, that's what's fun about the hobby nowadays. That there's so many different things that you can collect. There's so many different avenues. There's so many different ways to collect that I just don't see a bubble happening or a bubble bursting like the 90s. I don't think it's going to happen.
Me either. And there's one other aspect that you didn't mention. I'm excited you didn't say it because I was thinking as I'm listening to you, but I'm thinking and I'm like, breaking, man. Breaking. Oh, God, love Bumbleberry. Love Bumbleberry, a Cleveland classic beer.
Breaking, yep.
I mean, you got people, it gives you a chance to get the high roller card for a little lesser price than having to buy the box. So that there's a tangible something you can get and win in gambling to a degree. So there's that aspect of it. There's a lot of fun to it. There's excitement. That's a whole thing with IG and everything else, man. That's a whole other element that really drives interest in the hobby too. So yeah, you might get your basic base cards out of it, but the players, with the players driving and the popularity of the league, stuff like that's always going to help drive the hobby too. So breaking's a huge one.
Yeah, and you and I talked about this. I mean, we're not huge gamblers. I mean, I like gambling. I like winning.
Bro, I lose $20 at the casino. It ruins my night. I'm pissed. I'm like, I could have got a pizza with that 20. I could have bought 2 frozen pizzas with that 20. Like, I think about it all night and I'm pissed. Like, I hate gambling. I hate it.
Now you got a house, so you got other things to worry about too with that $20.
Yeah, but I'll buy packs all day. I'll get so many packs. I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna hit something. I'll like, that's the thing. At least you get something tangible,
Right.
But
that's
but
gambling
then
too. But it at least while that's gambling, that still gives you about 5 minutes of entertainment. So you're paying, $4 a minute essentially. Which there's worse things you could spend for $4 a minute.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think, when I got back into the hobby in 2017, the first big breaker I started working with was DC Sports 87. Zach came in, who actually I'm going to have on next few weeks. I'm very excited about that. But he kind of introduced me to breaking, and I really went into it green because when I collected, back as a kid, and then when I got back into it about like 2010, I think 2011, breaking still wasn't a huge thing. Now it's what everybody does because first off, for the breakers, it's a great moneymaker because you build in your profit. You're making 20, 30%. And as long as you have a loyal customer base, you're good. I get that. I respect that. But, is breaking starting to jump the shark a little bit? I think so, because, what I've noticed is online retailers or even the card shops nowadays are having a hard time getting product due to allocation because it's going to breakers who are guaranteed to rip through their product. And it's a business. I get that. And the distributors are just doing what they got to do. But what is cool about breaking, it allows you to not only the opportunity to possibly hit that big card, it allows you to see all the different cards that are in, whatever set that you're breaking, or if you're doing a mix or with multiple sets, you can see all the different cards. And I do like that. Obviously, there's companies like Brothers and Cards that will send you multiple packs as well. So it's a cheap, easy way to kind of.
I have one of those on the way.
Yeah, they're fun. I got one for Christmas. I'm sure I'm going to get another one because my mom loves to send me the same things every year, which I'm fine with. I'm good with that.
That's a good same thing to send. Yeah.
She's been giving me Peeps for the past 20 years. I told her once when I was trying, like Peeps, which I don't mind Peeps, but I'm like, I don't need them every year, Ma. I don't need them every year. But,
when they were 9, they were great. Now they're death. Right. They're just little poison pills.
Which is hilarious because when I was 9, I would love a box of cards too. But now that I'm 35, I love a box of cards. So, I'm guessing that I'm guessing I'm going to get another one for my mom this year, which I'm fine with. Christmas is coming, but but Brothers and Cards is a great company that's built a huge following by offering a different service, a different product, and the uniqueness of their product, of some of the breakers. I mean, if you're just a breaker saying, hey, I'm going to rip this box of Impeccable and I'll have another break next month too, whatever, they're not bringing much to the hobby. But those who are actually, what I like about DC Sports 87, they're breakers, but they also do consignments based on your hits. So if you hit a card, you don't want it, they'll sell it for you. And guess what? Now you have credit to get into another break. And that's kind of how you, and what I've talked to people who are new into the hobby is it's such an easy barrier there's no barrier to entry because you can get into the hobby for $20 and it's like the scene, the episode of The Office where Dwight, starts with a paperclip and ends with I don't even know what he ends with. But you trade up like that. It's easy to do that in this hobby if you play it right. So, just some different things in the hobby that I think are going to keep it from the bubble bursting. Internet series like ours where we're educating people about the hobby, but the latest things going on. Online, the breakers.tv. I mean, a lot of these breakers are on there with their breaks at all times. You can just watch all the new product being ripped as it's being released.
So yeah, we're going countless ways, Bildo, why we think that this bubble will not burst. I mean, there are a lot more options than anybody's ever had to get into it for a multitude of different reasons. And your favorite player you want to collect. You want to hit the big hits and flip them and sell them. You want to get in a break and try to hit a card. You just want to collect Delaney Walker like some crazy person. Like everybody's got a reason to want to do it, and that's the beauty of it. And that's why the bubble ain't bursting, Bildo.
I agree. And also a lot of new faces, a lot of new eyes are on the hobby, whether those are those with reasons to collect, reasons to invest, reasons to flip. I mean, there's just a lot of eyes on it thanks to COVID. Don't want to say it that way, but because of COVID, because of guys like Gary Vee who are big into the hobby, putting the eyes in the hobby, which I think has been absolutely huge. Now it's going to come down. The box price of $1,000 for Prism, I don't think is going to last. I don't see that lasting. I think that as people see that there's no ROI whatsoever in $1,000, they're eventually going to say, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. Maybe we can go back to flipping sneakers. But our guy that we like to follow, Tyler Sports Guy, had a hilarious meme that I posted on our Instagram account, our story, and that's near and dear to my heart because he mentions like, I could spend $1,000 on a Tom Brady autograph or $1,000 on a box of Prism and hit, defensive lineman autograph from the Atlanta Falcons. And, it's funny because what we talked about when I almost dropped $800 on a Brady autograph, I mean, it's crazy to think that people are willing to gamble $1,000 and maybe hit on a Justin Herbert or a Joe Burrow or a Tua who could be great this year and be absolutely nothing next year, or you spend $1,000 on a Tom Brady autograph, who's a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's crazy. But then again, I've spent how much money on helmet patch autos for nobody's impeccable.
The allure.
Again, it's all about what you want to
Jay-Z said, the allure is too much to ignore.
It's all about what you want to collect and how you want to collect. And I think there's a great transition into Bildo's other question, which I really liked. And I thought that it was funny because you and I have a very similar mindset to this. But what do you plan on doing with your PC if and when you get out of collecting? And if the value of the cards drop due to a bubble possibly bursting? So what are you going to do with your cards, SP?
Tell me, all seriousness, did my wife submit this question?
If you married Bildo, I'd say yes, but she did not. She did not.
Okay, just curious, because I feel like that's something she's been wondering every time she sees me get another package.
I don't think she follows cards are. Tell her to hit that follow button.
She doesn't follow. She just talks about you under her
follow.
All
Damn it! Build up that Instagram.
So, yes, you need to. Every little bit counts, Emily. So yeah, what am I going to do with my PC when I'm done? Because like I said, Delaney Walker and Eddie George and the Titans aren't really the hottest team in the NFL. You know what? I didn't really think of that. I didn't get in it to think about that. I got in it to purely bring myself joy and to have fun with it and to have sentimental value and nostalgia and something that was fun that I got excited to bond with you over and some other friends that I haven't that either I do talk to or I haven't talked to in a while. There's a dude I went to grade school with that we had a table and sold cards in the 5th grade, and at the Eagles, a fraternal order of Eagles, and we went to high school together. But, you grow up and come adult. We've been texting all the time now recently because he's getting back into cards too and stuff, and so that's the reason why I'm doing all this. So I have not thought about the long term.
Yep.
I do supplement my Eddie Georges and Delaney Walkers with King Henry and AJ Brown and other rookies to try to at least eventually offset the cost of everything. But diversify just like Wu-Tang Financial taught me.
Diversify
and so diversify my bonds. Yeah. So yeah, man, I haven't really thought about it. I just kind of, I'm just enjoying the ride, enjoying having fun, enjoying meeting people, enjoying reconnecting with friends and stuff. And although I do say, hey, our kids are going to get some tuition off this someday. And that would be nice off of some of them, but a lot of them, I don't mind keeping with me and just enjoying. So that's my answer.
Yeah, to me, and I get that. It's a tough question to ask. It's kind of like, asking, like, hey, did you get your will ready yet? It's like, I don't want to think about it. I don't even know. For me, there's coffin cards. There's cards that I want to be buried with, whether that's the Fleer Metal Tom Brady rookie card that I found in a shoebox when I was, 20, or not 20, I was probably like 16, 17, after he had won a Super Bowl. And I was like, holy crap, I have this card? That's pretty cool. Cards that I remember picking up from the local card store as a kid. I have a Charles Barkley team MVP card that was like worth $8 at the time that my dad bought me because I was like, I don't know, good in school for a day or something like that, which was a huge as an 8-year-old.
You fooled him once.
I cherish that card. And it was worth $8 at the time. It's worth about 50 cents now, but whatever. But like, that's the kind of stuff that like, I look at that and there's a story to it. Can't
put a price on that, brother. Can't put a price on the memory and the feelings.
I got a 94, 95 Sean Kemp Collector's Choice Gold signature card that I'll never forget. I literally spent probably about 3 years trying to trade with my buddy. I wanted that card so bad, and he would not trade it solely to be a dick. He knew that I wanted it so bad. He trade it to me. And then that's when we were like 12. When we graduated high school, he gave it to me as a graduation present. True story. I still have it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's such a
Is this Joe Goldberg?
No, it's not Goldberg. He would have did. Didn't it? No, it's a card that I love, and it's a story I can tell. But then there's other cards too where, you know what? Honestly, if the hobby keeps on doing what it's doing, or at least like stays somewhat relevant, I have right now a down payment on a house in my collection. And if it grows, if it matures in the next 20, 30 years, my daughter's got a tuition paid for. I mean, it's it's maybe not in 30 years. I hope she's not in college in 30 years because she's 3. But
She's getting her doctorate.
I can pay for her wedding. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
But like I said, I hope that I don't ever sell my cards. I know that it's a liquid asset at this point. If times are, I mean, we're sitting in a time of COVID where we have no idea what's going to happen today or tomorrow, and if it's still a hobby that has a lot of money in it, well, guess what? If times are tough, lose my job, knock on wood, God forbid, but it's an asset to help pay the bills, and that's what I like about it, and that's why I said earlier, there's a minimal barrier of entry to building your portfolio in sports cards. I'm not saying that as an investor. I'm saying that as somebody who started this as a hobby, found a way to make it a side hustle to pay for the hobby, and then when times do get tough, though, it's easy to move on from these cards and at least get your investment back. Not as a sports card investor solely to flip, but to protect yourself if, heaven forbid, something happens to you. So, kind of went down a dark road there, I think, for a second, but it's true.
But it is true.
It's true. So again, there's coffin cards for me. For me, most of my Tom Brady collection, I mean, obviously not all of it, but some of those cards would definitely go in there.
Helps when you collect the GOAT, the literal greatest player of the NFL. Yeah, it helps that you tell me my Delaney Walkers aren't going to be a down payment. Was it going to be a bungalow?
A down payment on a mobile home maybe. But like my Jerry Stackhouse autograph cards, that ain't getting me much. My Mo Vaughn autograph cards, that's not getting me much. But that's the stuff. My Mark Rippon, Christian McCoy, like that's the stuff that I love, and that's the stuff I want to hold on to, just because, for nostalgia reasons, just because it's fun. I mean, I enjoy it. It's just a fun hobby. So
right. So yeah, the more I get into it, the more I'm trying to find that zen balance of what brings me joy and what I just want to collect. And hey, you might want to get a couple that somebody else might want later on down the road.
So you can
at least justify it to the missus.
My goal with cards is to never spend a penny out of my personal wallet to pay for my cards. That's my goal. I'm not trying to pay my mortgage with this. I'm not trying to, become a multi-million-dollar. Well, it'd be cool if I was a multi-million-dollar investor, entrepreneur, whatever. But that's not my goal. My goal is to really bring the hobby to other people out there while also helping build up my collection, my PC, and all that. So it's fun stuff. But all right,
that's what it's all about.
Couple more questions, then we're gonna call it a night. These are fun questions. The first question is just rude. Just rude if you ask me. Who has the better hair?
I mean, yeah, well, or lack thereof.
I mean, just a dick comment. What's up with that? How am I supposed to fight this list?
I need a cut too.
Beautiful. I need a cut too. I get to a point it's after a week, this right here starts to really, and it's really frustrating because my dad had a mane. He still has a mane. He's got a beautiful head of hair. Where did that come from? So I blame.
That's all right. We're not showing my beer gut and your abs, so it's okay.
Yeah, abs aren't as big as they used to be. But I blame 15 years of swimming in chlorine. That's what I'm using, Pert Plus. Thanks, Mom. All right.
Hey, for real, all that chlorine probably did do its toll on you, buddy, for decades of swimming. Yeah, that probably did, for real, though.
But it probably helps some stuff, too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll take your word for it.
Who has the better jersey collection?
I mean, I'd have to go through crib style your closet, but I'd find it hard to believe. The thing that I have underrated though is I happen to have an in with a sports team a little bit, so I get some jerseys that are game used and authentic and autographed from some people I get to work with and things, which we won't get into. But so that kind of cheats me a little bit. But for football jersey standpoint, I guess it depends maybe what team you like more. But I do have, I got a couple of Danian authentic jerseys. I got the Antonio Gates Pro Bowl, not game used jersey, but game cut jersey. I got an Emmitt Smith 95 Pro Bowl jersey on the way. I don't know. I got diversity. I mean, I don't have a Scott Stapp Cowboys jersey, but I got some pretty dang good ones. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it depends on what your interest is who thinks. I know we both have very good jersey collections. I do know that.
My jersey collection is more ironic than like legendary. I mean, I have my Brady jerseys, and then I got like a Ben Coates jersey. I have a Justin Blackmon jersey from the Jaguars that I got at the Champ Sports Outlet.
Wow.
Place ever. One of our favorite spots ever.
Strongsville, baby.
I love Strongsville. Everything about it.
Everybody loves Strongsville.
The mall, the Chipotle, the Champ Sports Outlet. The Scott Stapp jersey, obviously, if you've seen and we'll link it at the bottom of this, but if you've seen the Thanksgiving performance, I paid about $100 for that custom jersey just for chuckles with my friends. You know, I got a Chris.
And when you see the video, you'll chuckle enough and you'll kind of get it because it is pretty.
I have a Chris Wanke, Florida State, Peter Warwick, Florida State, Ben Coates, Robert Edwards. And then I dive into basketball jerseys. I got, Jerry Stackhouse, Anthony Hardaway pinstripes, Kevin Garnett Celtics, Paul Pierce Celtics. And I rocked that in the summer. Charles Barkley, of course.
Do you still have the champion Larry Bird jersey? Was one of the first times I met you at the Blue House. So you still got that one?
The Dream Team?
No, you had a champion Celtics Larry Bird replica jersey on when I one of the first times I ever met you at the Blue House.
Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce.
Oh, I thought it was Bird. My bad. I thought it was Larry Legend.
34 Paul Pierce. Still have that. Still rock that, of course.
Okay.
So yeah, that's not so much ironic, but I have a Dan Marley Team USA autograph jersey. So there's a lot of ironic jerseys in my basketball collection as well. So, okay, basketball. This is what I'm going to hit you with. In their prime, who would win in a game of one-on-one basketball? Mirio.
Oh, buddy. I'm sorry, but do you really think you could stop me in the post?
Oh, no question. In my prime? In prime CrossFit
Bro,
day? Oh,
I'm squatting 600 playing college football. You're telling me when I'm backing you down, you're going to stop me?
Oh, my God.
I'll get my own rebound. I'll get my own rebound when I miss it because I know I can't shoot for a lick, but I can get every rebound because your boy's an offensive lineman that can't be stopped.
Okay, well, this is where we disagree strongly because I think that, when I wasn't squatting 600, but when I was squatting 400, I still had the ups, but I had a little more speed, a little more dexterity, if I may.
True.
And for literally 2 weeks,
it would
an outside shot for 2 weeks.
And that's the thing. You'd have to run circles around me. Although when I was at least in shape, I could run, even though I was a big boy. But, I mean, obviously I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm anywhere near as agile and swift as you are. I'm not. I know that. So if your jumper's working, I would be in trouble because then, you'd be I'd try to keep up with you a little bit.
Right,
so,
right.
I just know you – okay, my first instinct was you couldn't stop me on offense. I could only stop myself by missing little jump hooks. But – so it might come down to who can get a stop in the end, maybe, sure. I think.
Well, maybe it's just a perfect example. We just make a great team, if I may.
Oh, that would be – we would complement each other very well, yes. Because I only like rebounding. I didn't even want to shoot. I just wanted to rebound and box out.
Ben Walls, right?
Rough people up. Oh, absolutely. That's my guy.
Absolutely. I'm the same way. All right, so speaking of irony, 8 minutes. 8 minutes on this one. I'm hoping – Mark Rippon.
You're gonna have 20 impeccables before I get one.
I mean, it's Mark Rippon. I loved Mark Rippon. Again, talking about what I collect, what I want to keep. I have a card that I sent him, and he signed it and sent it back to me back when I was 10. So I've always had a soft spot for Mark Rippon. I'll throw $20 at this, see if I win it. We'll see. So
who's at 11 right now?
It's at 11 with 7 minutes left.
Isn't that his number?
It is.
Oh, baby, you're gonna get it for 11-11.
Oh, that'd be nice. I'll throw 2088 at it. That's my number, and we'll see what it comes in at. So, all right, SP, we had some fun tonight, buddy. Always good talking to you about cards. Anything else you got to say before we shove off?
No, as much as, you said DC Sports is coming on next, I thought this was just going to be me every Wednesday. So maybe I could tell my wife I'll be able to have dinner with her next week. But thanks for having me on, man. I always love talking cards with you. We do it all day, every day anyway. I swear I get a text from you every morning when I wake up talking about some kind of impeccable you got or some kind of bid you're about to make. But I love I just love it. It's fun. And I'm glad I get to chop it up with you all the time about it.
Of course, SP. Hey, maybe if you're lucky enough, I'll have you on with DC Sports 87. But hey, that's not for probably another week or two. So you're still good.
I would be able to tell him about. I want to tell him about the Delaney Walker booklet, chunky patch booklet I got off of him for a steal on eBay one time. Thank him for me when you talk to him.
All right, so we're gonna have the three of us on. How about that? There you go.
All right.
Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Until next time, keep on collecting.